Hi, Chase Hiley here with Greenstone Media. Some of you may know me as the CEO and one of the founders at Greenstone Media, and today I'm going to be going through our proven process for 10xing your enrollment leads and even doubling your enrollment for targeted programs using an automated enrollment funnel. And if you are looking for a solution to consistently grow and scale your enrollment, I'm going to be doing a deep dive, and also in this document we're going to go through each step of the process that you need to get these types of results for your higher ed institution. Just a couple quick housekeeping things. There are a couple links throughout this document that you can click on and access. So if you want to catch the replay, you can catch that here, and it goes through the full video where you can get certain parts. And then also, if you're watching this, I'm sure you have access to this document as well, and you can look at any specific areas that we go through. But in this document, I'm going to share with you a new simple automated system that will bring you anywhere from 5 to as many as 20 new enrollments for specific programs each month. And this is called the Automated Enrollment Funnel, and it's very different from other marketing methods or any enrollment lead generation methods you're familiar with, because of how it's able to systematically and ethically attract more of your target audience and convert them into actual enrolled students. So let's look at how we can get as few as 5 to as many as 15, 20 new student enrollments every single month, and what is needed to make all of this work for you. That means if you execute these systems, you're going to have an institution thriving with applicant leads. You're going to be able to generate student enrollment leads on demand. You're going to be able to attract more of your ideal audience. You're going to have a system in place that automatically converts these leads into students. And we're going to eliminate the guesswork on what's holding your enrollment growth back. All of this without your messaging being over salesy, wasting more money on marketing or strategies that's not working, and having to stress out where your next enrollment lead is coming from, or even putting more work on your plate. And just like Tony at Chattanooga College, who went from averaging about 40 applicant leads per month to averaging about 300 applicant leads a month and doubled their enrollments in 1 year. Even reduced their cost per lead by 2/3. You can see if I can zoom in just a little bit. You can see some of the results from their campaign right here. This was just within their campaign running for about a month. You can see how many enrollment leads just from this campaign. Also, here's the additional campaigns that we're running. You can see how many conversions, which are application form fills. And essentially what they were able to do is get a system in place where they're averaging about 40 enrollment leads, so a little well over 300 leads per month, actually reduce their cost per leads by 2/3. And then for their targeted programs, from their nursing programs, medical assistant programs, their dental programs, they actually consistently doubled enrollment each month for those targeted programs. Or just like one of our clients, Charles Wyatt, who tripled their applicant leads just in 90 days, and 2x their enrollment for targeted traditional programs that we were promoting, along with increasing their MBA and online programs enrollments by 50%, all within 90 days. And you can see, like, for different things we're tracking how many applications started, how many applications filled, all from this automated enrollment system that I'm going through. If you are not getting results like this with your paid social ads or your any type of enrollment lead generation efforts, but here you can see how many leads we're generating, cost per leads, and at the end of the day, they doubled their enrollments for their targeted traditional programs and increased enrollments by 50%. Now, a lot of this stuff that we're going through, this is stuff that we've actually implemented for our own company successfully since 2013. And since that, the year we were founded, and we've helped a little over 500 companies implement similar systems to help them acquire more customers and increase their bottom line. Again, my name is Chase Hiley. I'm one of the original founders at Greenstone Media and currently serve as the CEO. And just a quick background information. We started as a full suite marketing agency in Asheville, North Carolina, serving mostly local businesses as we started out. And then as we grew in scale, we started working with some B2B companies. And then about 4 years ago, we were hired by a higher ed print marketing company that outsourced all of their digital marketing that they did for colleges and universities to us. And while a lot of things, like because it was white labeled, they were able to take credit for our success, we learned a lot from this, from managing a little over a dozen digital marketing enrollment campaigns for these different higher ed institutions such as Limestone University, UNCA, Michigan State University, Toccoa Falls College, Montreat College, Shorter University, it goes on. We noticed 5 key things that are needed for consistently bringing new students with digital marketing and online advertising. In fact, we frequently get asked to speak at conferences and perform workshops on this topic, such as Digital Summit, GCA, the Georgia Continuing Education Association, the National Small Enrollment Conference, the National Small College Enrollment Conference, as well as other conferences as well, ACHA. And during the past 3 years, we've built out a proven enrollment growth system from what we've learned from those campaigns that we've run, along with a proven messaging framework. And every institution that we've worked with and has implemented all of these systems that we're going through has experienced enrollment growth. And this works well for either traditional or non-traditional graduate or grad programs. And again, these are actual results from 1 month of just working with Limestone University, of how many applications they had submitted for their campaigns, how many calls we were having to admissions. And just depending on what specific programs you're looking at growing, we're going to be able to get you a system in place where, again, you can get as few as 5 to as many as 25 new enrollments. But in order for this to work, you're going to need this automated, predictable system. And just like at Chattanooga College before, the president, Tony, there worked with our team. He consistently solely relied on word of mouth. And if you're like that, you do not have this system in place yet. And I can't tell you how many colleges and universities we've talked to from our partners, such as the Technical College System of Georgia, the NSE, the National Small College Enrollment Conference, ACHA. We noticed a common trend that most higher ed institutions experienced a significant decrease in enrollments during the pandemic. And I get there were a lot of things out of our control, but however, at Chattanooga College, they experienced a different story. In fact, they almost consistently doubled their enrollments for their targeted programs during COVID. And why? That's because we built out this proven, predictable system, and they had this in place. We built this out even before. And so how did we optimize this system? You're going to see like a couple things in our process as we go through this automated enrollment funnel. We have a couple different things that from once we get opt-ins, we're going to have a system in place that nurtures. So once we capture that lead, we're going to have systems in place to nurture these leads into students, and then also have consistent remarketing for those that haven't converted. But before I get into all that, I'm going to walk you through the 5 core things needed for a predictable enrollment growth system. First off, you need clear, specific goals and budgets required, along with metrics for KPI tracking. It's really important to clearly determine which programs you need to increase enrollment for, define the actual numbers for each one, so that way you can figure out how many leads you need to generate. Also, what is a realistic budget to accomplish those goals. The second core pillar of our system is you need a clear message using storytelling tactics that attract more of your ideal student. You'll be surprised at how many institutions use internal or unclear messaging that does not share how their academic programs help their students advance their career, or invite them into a story. Third, you need your website working as a 24/7 salesperson to help you get more enrollment leads into your funnel. There are 4 core components that go into an institution's website that works. And if you don't have these things, you are literally handing out enrollment leads to your online competitors. I'll go through that here in a little bit more. Fourth, you need an automated enrollment funnel with an email marketing system to nurture all applicant leads into students. And we do this by adding lead generators to your website and landing pages for any advertising campaigns that we're running, which will help you convert an additional 20% of your prospective students into new enrollments, all while using a nurture email sequence that's going to convert these leads into students, qualify your audience, and do this without being over salesy. Lastly, for our 5th course pillar, you're going to need to place digital marketing ads and your lead generators in front of your target audience on social and on Google with the right messaging. This will drive new leads into your automated enrollment funnel. And because you have that funnel automated, it's going to consistently bring you new student enrollments for whichever programs you're looking to promote and grow every single month. So that ultimately you will have higher quality enrollment applicants, which are being qualified by the enrollment funnel. You have this entire system automated so that you can spend your time speaking with new student candidates, increasing your enrollment without having to put more work on your plate, wear so many hats, and be able to reinvest time on what you love and enjoy working with and growing your institution. And that's why today we are offering to install this entire system into your institution, completely done for you. And if you've already heard enough information and you'd like to take advantage of this unique opportunity, I'd recommend you can go and book a call with one of our team members, and we can talk about how we can get this executed for you. You'll see I have it linked here. All right, well, let me get a quick drink of water. I'm going to be going through a deep dive on the above. And before I do that, I'm going to share some of the old ways of student generation. And you may be familiar with name buys, lead list, sending direct mail, your admissions team's cold calling lead list, and hoping that by throwing more spaghetti on the wall and crossing your fingers, you'll generate the enrollments you've been looking for. And while some of these tactics can bring you some students, this system in this document is designed to 10x your enrollment leads and double enrollments for your targeted programs, all while even lowering your student acquisition costs by up to 2/3. All right, so circling back to the first pillar of our system, let's make sure that we have clear enrollment growth goals, the specific programs we're growing, the leads needed, and the overall budget. Otherwise, we're not going to have realistic or clear expectations. Running just a campaign on social promoting all of your programs going right to your website, it just doesn't work these days. As we'll need to have a targeted campaign for each specific program. Each will need its own lead magnet. Each is going to need its own enrollment funnel and specific messaging for that target audience. Again, we're going to need realistic budgets for your ad spend to achieve the impressions and the clicks you need to generate the leads for your enrollment goals with the tracking system in place. And you'll see I have this link below, but while calculating your ad spend the ad spend needed is affected by your specific landscape, especially like with Google ads versus paid ads, I'm going to share with you a framework to calculate the ballpark leads needed and budget. As we're going through this, feel free, like when you're booking a call with our team, we can share with you our Google Ads calculator that are specific for higher ed. And then I'm going to share with you more of a generic formula that works well. So you can see just ballpark what your ad spend should be for generating the leads you need for the amount of enrollments that you're looking to grow for any specific program. So typically what we see when we are with our system, when we are generating leads on Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, we typically see about a 20% conversion rate from that lead to an enrollment with our system. And we typically average a cost per lead by about $75. So we average about a $75 cost per lead. And so if we're looking to generate 50 new enrollments for a specific program, just by looking at these conversion metrics, we would need a minimum of 250 leads at that conversion rate of 20. And that would help us get 50 new enrolled students. And with all that, we would need an ad spend of $18,750 for that whole campaign. I go through all this because we've worked with many clients that if you do not have realistic ad spends, and also if you do not run this by targeted programs, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And then also, once you get all the above executed, how do we track success from this? And how do we know if we're on track, off track, and everything there? We recommend weekly scorecard tracking. And while some KPIs are custom to your institution, depending on application starts, application finishes, online programs, here's some core things that we like to keep track of, and that's clicks on ads, conversions. What we define as a conversion are all lead form fills, any type of form fill, calls, application starts. We are looking each week at our ad spend, and then we are reviewing this on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly cadence, and then we'll do benchmarking on this as well. So these are all things that I would highly recommend that you're doing, and that the reason why we encourage this weekly tracking and having goals for the above is rather than just running on monthly tracking alone, is because it helps us stay ahead and ensure that we're on track, or if we need to make any adjustments well ahead of time. So that way, as we're building towards a new enrollment cycle or building up a new cohort, we are able to stay on track and meet our goals. All right, so for next, our next core pillar is making sure you have a story that students buy. And this is going directly into your messaging component. And we get it, like most every higher ed institution has one main goal with all of their marketing efforts, and that's to increase enrollment, help more of your target audience. And we've seen that many colleges and universities spend time and money trying to attract students to their program. Unfortunately, all the time and effort you invest, in getting your website refreshed, digital marketing and online ads don't generate the kind of ROI you have been expecting or looking for. So what's the main problem? It's your marketing message. And so it's plain and simple. The words that you're using aren't inviting your potential students into your story. You aren't speaking to them in a way that resonates and moves them into action. And don't worry, we can fix this problem. And you can tap into the power of story to create a powerful marketing message that puts your institution on students' must-visit list. Now, in this part, you're going to learn the 7 elements of crafting a story that resonates with potential students and leads to more enrollments. Now, I have to confess here, I did not, or my team, we did not invent this framework. We are simply bringing it to you. Some of you may have heard of Donald Miller, New York Times multiple best times author, invented this framework, and it's called the 7-part framework. Has helped well over 10,000 organizations clarify their message. And again, the framework that he and his team created is from the book Building a Story Brand, clarifying your message so your customers will listen. And here's a picture of us. Here's me with Donald Miller and some of our team members. And then also some of you may have heard of Dr. J.J. Peterson. He and Donald Miller are the ones that invented this 7-part framework. And as a story brand certified marketing agency, our company is licensed to, and has been trained and uses their framework to help higher ed institutions create the right message to attract more of their ideal audience. And I've got this the 7-part framework listed below. We'll do a deep dive through each part of this, but we're going to be looking at from identifying who your target customer is, what they want, what problems they're facing, how we can position your institution as the helpful guide, gives them a plan, calls them to action, and helps them achieve success. So maybe achieving their dream career and helping them avoid failure, which might be being stuck in a career that they cannot stand. Now, the structure that tells the story, now again, this is storytellers, this is you. We don't simply begin to tell a story and see where it goes. This whole framework follows certain guidelines to develop a story that's engaging and one that will make your audience or prospective students want to enroll. Now, I just hit on some of the 7 parts of the storytelling framework, and it's the same structure that it's used in movies and stories that we remember today, like from Star Wars, Harry Potter, The Hunger Games, Jason Bourne. And I'm just going to warn you, as we go through this, I am going to ruin movies for you. Sometimes even when my wife and I go to the movies, I can just quickly figure out, like, all right, this guy right here, he dies in 20 minutes. And my wife will be like, hey, shut up, eat your popcorn, enjoy the movie. But here's the formula that all of these movies follow. There's a character that has a problem, then meets a guide who gives them a plan and calls them to action. And that action either results in a success or failure. And if your college or university implements this writing structure correctly, the words on your website and in your marketing collateral will cut through the noise and students will be lining up for a campus tour. Now, here are the 7 parts. From identifying the character who has a problem, meets a guide, gives them a plan, calls them to action, helps them avoid failure, and ends in success for them. I know we've already kind of ran through this. Now, the first step is thinking about your character, potential students, and what they really want. And I get at a lot of higher ed institutions, you have multiple audiences that you're serving. Your traditional audience is not the same for those that are looking for grad programs. So it's really important that as you go through this, you actually fill out in a profile each specific audience going through this formula. So that way each messaging is unique. So once we identify who our audience or who our audience has become, what is the problem they're facing as it relates to our offering at our institution, how does that problem make them feel? What plan can we give them so they avoid the failure that comes from this problem? And what does success look like if they follow our plan? And if you're reading this closely or watching this closely, you're likely beginning to notice how a simple story structure can apply to your programs and make your marketing efforts more effective. All you have to do is take the components of a good story and turn them into higher ed centered questions. It's that simple. Now, the prospective student seeking higher education or continuing education is living in a story. Your job is to help them define the problem they're facing and position your programs as the solution. Once you've begun to make this identification, you've progressed in the second part of the storytelling framework, and that is they have a problem. Now, stories don't begin until a problem has been introduced. If a movie doesn't introduce a problem just within the first few scenes, it simply won't capture that audience's attention to hook them into the story. Just like with Hunger Games, Katniss has to survive. Luke Skywalker has to find out if he has what it takes to be a Jedi. Harry Potter has to get away from the Dursleys. Now, this, of course, is no different for higher ed institutions. If you want your website to be effective, you have to identify the problem your audience is facing and clearly communicate it on your website and all of your marketing collateral. You're helping students broaden their horizons, further their skills, or pursue and achieve their dream career. And this is the part of the story where things get real and action must be taken. So this paradigm is often referred to as a story loop. Essentially, this is when a problem gets created in someone's brain and suddenly they have to see it resolved. That problem goes in and out of being solved for the rest of the movie. It finally reaches a resolution. Very simple, the problem is what keeps an audience in their seat. So examples of problems, a lot of colleges struggle to market themselves online in a way that looks great and generates enrollment. They either waste their money trying to look good or they give it no effort and enrollment declines. Any company will tell you they want to hire and retain the right employees, but not every company has the tools to achieve that. Most working professionals don't have an easy way to pursue an MBA, CEUs, or switch careers. Lack of time, money, or resources keeps them from pursuing their dreams. You have to nail down the reality of the issue that prospective students are facing. Once you do, they want to know how you can help them solve it. And that leads to the next piece of the storytelling framework, introducing your institution as the trusted guide. Now, meeting the guide is the scene in every movie where the hero gets help. That's where Luke Skywalker meets Obi-Wan, later Yoda. Harry meets Hagrid. Katniss meets Haymitch, or you might know him as Woody from Cheers. In your marketing copy, you should position your college or university as the guide that enters into the story and teaches your potential student how to solve their problems. However, many colleges don't know how to be the guide. They're still trying to be the hero. Their website is all about them, their core beliefs, the awards they've won, how committed they are. And that all sounds great, but that's not the story your audience is interested in. They're interested in their story, what you can do for them. When a visitor lands on your website and every sentence starts with "we," they will disengage. Here's why. 5 minutes ago, they went on Google searching for a solution to a problem they were experiencing. Then when they landed on your website, they discovered all the words were about your institution and not about how you will solve their problem. They couldn't see whether you understood their issue or if you could solve it. So they left. If you want to successfully position your college or university as a trusted guide, you should ask yourself these questions. Does your website prove you understand a prospective student's problem? Does your website use the word "you" more than "we"? Does your website make you appear as both authoritative and empathetic? As mentioned earlier, if your marketing collateral hasn't nailed down your audience's problem and how it makes them feel, they will not listen to you when you try to position yourself as their guide. Once you've successfully established yourself and your institution as the helpful guide, it's time to give your visitors an action plan. Now remember, your audience needs 3 things from you before you should expect them to begin the enrollment process. They need empathy. They need to know you understand them and the problems they're facing. They need authority. They need to see who you've helped successfully, and that because of that, it'll be really easy for you to help them too. They also need a plan. They need everything right up to this point, but if you don't offer a clear plan for them, they won't take action. Unfortunately, the opposite has likely been happening to your institution. The communication wasn't clear during the enrollment process, and you didn't get the student to apply. You wondered if it was something you said, and chances are this is where you might have missed it. Your audience needs a 1, 2, 3 step plan for enrolling. Remember, you know the process inside and out, but most of your leads have no idea. And remember, potential students will understand everything about your college or university and how it works immediately. So let's make sure you provide a simple first step. On your website, you need a call to action. Well, that calls them to action. Using vague language such as learn more or read more is not going to inspire your website visitors to act. They are looking for a clear plan that shows them how they can pursue their career dreams or advance in their current career. On your website, use language like schedule a call today, book a tour now, speak with admissions. This helps your website visitors know exactly what to do and makes the call to action both immediate and imperative. What is the first step your audience needs to take? Now, let's look at moving them to the second phase in our plan. Oversimplify your process so when a website visitor reads it, they know exactly what to expect. They booked a campus tour or completed a consultation call. What's next? So a common example for step 2 is usually filling out the application, completing the application. But most higher ed institutions know how to help their audience, but do potential students know that? Without the words that clearly spell it out, you open up the opportunity for confusion and uncertainty. By taking the guesswork out of the situation with this simple 1, 2, 3 step plan, they will know exactly what they are getting into and are more likely to take action. Now for the last step, let's show them what success looks like. And this is again the last step in our 1, 2, 3 plan. And really in any piece of collateral that you write at your institution or any of your marketing collateral. And this is to show what your audience, what success will look like for them if they choose to enroll with you. Success might be something like realizing a dream career, getting a promotion, advancing their skills, greater income, a sense of accomplishment and meaning and purpose. The list goes on. But what makes your audience smile in relation to your institution? Your job is to get that smile into words and into pictures on every piece of marketing collateral you have, because that's what people want. They want to experience the success that comes from solving their problem. And as mentioned in above, without a clear call to action, your audience simply won't be compelled to engage. And up to this point, you have identified the prospective student's problem, how it makes them feel, you've empathized with them, and you've positioned yourself as the helpful guide who has been there before and knows the best path to take. Now we have that 1, 2, 3 step plan you can have on your website, and it shows a digestible process for enrolling with you. Once you've followed these steps, it's time to call them to action. It needs to be clear, and it needs to be in unison with the first step in the 1, 2, 3 step plan we've already outlined. Ultimately, the call to action is the place where your institution decides whether to stay stuck in the rut or be transformed by enrolling at your institution. Again, the call to action is no place to be vague. Tell them exactly what they need to do so they can destroy the Death Star in their own life. All right, the sixth component that goes into our 7-part framework is helping them avoid failure. And what is a good story without the risk of failure? We see this all the time in action movies, like in James Bond. If he does not stop the bomb, what happens next? And so what's a good story without this failure? Failure is what happens if your audience problems goes unsolved, just like I mentioned. Make prospective students feel as if they are doing something heroic by enrolling at your institution. Obviously, there are consequences to not getting a good education. Sometimes all your audience needs to know is why it's not a bad idea to enroll with you. Unfortunately, most prospective students don't make the purchase or the change until they feel a healthy bit of pressure. Of course, this does not mean manipulating your audience. Use failure as a bit of seasoning in your story. Don't overdo it, just like when you're cooking with salt in your marinade. Just sprinkle a little bit in there. But add just enough that students understand the consequences of not enrolling in your institution. Manipulative stories often use failure to get prospective students to do something, but that's not the idea in a story that students buy. Students buy a story where they are the hero, feeling confident enough to make powerful decisions that leads to their success. So here's a helpful tip. Keep a list of what happens to your audience if they don't enroll with you. Might be, being stuck in a career that they're not happy with. But find tactful places in your marketing collateral to show prospects how you can help them avoid these unfortunate outcomes. And remember, if you do all of this right, they'll feel more spurred to take on action. All right, so the 7th partner framework is making sure that we communicate what success looks like, because you want your student's story to end in success. And really your job is to show them that success before they ever get it. In most movies, the hero gets a taste at the beginning before it becomes the reality at the end of the movie. They have problems to overcome, and it's the initial taste of success that really helps them get through the process. Your website and marketing collateral should show students what the success looks like for them, and they should be able to see themselves enjoying that success. This is the visual of someone smiling, enjoying life at your institution, and they have a better life because of this, because of what you have to offer. All great colleges and universities do that well, do this well because of all great stories do it well. Many institutions haven't mastered this concept, so their catalog of collateral is more like an infomercial or an arm twisting, and less like their target audience's dream board. Achieve the latter, and you'll be telling a story that students buy. So for takeaways here, the story that students buy is the story they identify with, and only happens when you talk about the problem they're facing and demonstrate that you have a way to solve that problem and lead them to success. If you know you should have students enrolling at your college or university and need help implementing effective copywriting on your website or any of your marketing collateral, you can do it yourself by this: visiting mystorybrand.com. And you might remember earlier up in here, I'm going to scroll up real quick. This right here, when you go to mystorybrand.com right there, you are going to be able to fill out this framework, and you're going to create a brand script. After you do this, you'll be prompted to complete a brand script, a one-liner, and a tagline. And then you're going to have all the 7 elements that you need for your messaging. And then the final step here is to execute all the above messaging and all of your marketing collateral. And if you don't have the time to do this, or if you would like our team to review this with you, what you currently have, you can simply book a call with our team here, and our team of StoryBrand certified guides can take a look at your messaging and ensure your messaging follows this framework and is positioned to attract more of your ideal audience using this storytelling tactic. All right, going to our core pillar number 3. I'm going to need to get some more water. All right, so you need a website that works, and your website is your institution's front door, and it's often one of the first interaction prospective students have with your organization. And here's the critical piece: you have about 5 seconds to capture their attention, so you don't have a second to waste in telling a story that moves students to action. A lot of colleges and universities are losing potential students because they don't have a website that works. Their site is focused on telling us their story rather than inviting students into their story and making them the hero. Now, there's good news. There's a simple fix. By following some of the best practices, you can create a website that captures the attention of your target audience and inspires them to take action. And we've already gone over the messaging framework. But again, your website is more than an online brochure or placeholder on the internet. It should be this sales generating machine, generating leads for your institution 24/7. And how do you make that happen? By ensuring you have these 4 critical components on your website. And that's placing a tagline above the fold, having a clear call to action, show them what success looks like for your students, and being concise when describing your programs. And because, well, we'll start with the first one. When we place that tagline above the fold, I'm going to show you an example of that. But because you, in those first 5 seconds on your website are so crucial, the most important place to start on your website is the above the fold. And that is the term derived from newspapers and what people immediately see on the top half of the front page. Or in that case of a website, what people immediately see when they scroll down. It's what captures readers' attention or sends them away. Imagine someone has just typed in a question or searched for best colleges near me. They're experiencing a problem and they're looking to Google for answers. Now, when they arrive at your website's opening lines, they need to know 2 things to stay hooked: a tagline and a clear, concise statement of your offering. Tell prospective students what you can do for them in a simple way. Don't waste the valuable real estate of your above the fold section by trying to be cute or clever. Don't be vague. Visitors will leave your website if they don't read your opening info and think, yes, that's me. Remember, someone just came to your website looking for what you have to offer. If you lose them, that's your fault. But if you want to successfully position your institution as the right solution, simply ask yourself this question: how do you make your audience's life better? The smile you give a satisfied graduate, or the energy you feel when reading a glowing testimonial from an alumni, that's what you should aim to convey above the fold. For the example, the University of Phoenix has this tagline in short, clear statement: dare to dream. Whether you need help choosing a program, finding ways to save cost, or understanding how school fits in your life, we're here to help. Website visitors understand quickly this is an organization that not only provides higher education, resources, and a path for their dream career, but it will also help them save money, all while learning at their pace. How will you tell your audience what you can do for them? It's another reason why the University of Phoenix continues to be a leader with their online programs. All right. So for our second critical component on our website that works, it's making sure we have that clear call to action. And it's surprising how many institutions' websites don't have this call to action. And if higher ed institutions don't ask students to apply or schedule a campus tour, they won't do it. You're losing out on new students when you don't have this one simple button in multiple places on your website. In a world of one-click buying, people don't have the attention span to track down your phone number. They aren't going to spend 5 minutes looking for your email or contact form. Remember, most people land on your website because they were experiencing a problem. Address their problem, show them your solution, and give them a way to buy, if you will. Here are some examples of call to action that work well for colleges and universities. Enroll now. Schedule an appointment today. Book a campus tour. And some calls to action you should avoid using. Learn more, get started, contact us. Put that call to action button on every page of your website and do this more than once. Think of the call to action as the whole entire point of your website. Without it, your website simply won't work. Now that we have our call to action, we're going to go into the fourth critical component is making sure that you show what success looks like for visitors or for your students when they come to your website. And it's really easy for colleges and universities to talk about or to use their website to talk about themselves, their mission, pictures of building, and their dedication to serving students. When you make your website all about you, it's not effective. Why? Because your prospective students want to mentally check off these two items when they're looking at your website. Do they solve the problem I have, and do they solve it quickly and affordably? You need to answer these two questions clearly and simply. Then you need to show happy, smiling students who are experiencing successful results. Showcase the success through the images you use, testimonials, and any words that you have on your website. Does your website convey a picture of your students talking and smiling about your college or university? Your institution doesn't have to become something else to experience marketing success. You just have to take the story your students are already experiencing it and reflect it on your website. At the end of the day, the story of student experience and student success is what will sell your prospective audience. In fact, 92% of customers read online reviews before they buy. It's the modern day equivalent of hearing someone talk about your product on the street, if you will. Have you made your website a place where your students are talking about you? And here's some examples from a couple different institutions. One really good way to show that authority is showing how many students you've helped. We really like how Upper Iowa University follows this framework. You can see students learning at their own pace. Love the words here of how it's showing the convenience for this particular program, how they can learn at their pace, showing what the student experience has been like for fellow students or alumni, having those testimonials so students can see the transformation, the problem that they had, and how you can solve their problem as well. And I love this stat. This is again why the University of Phoenix continues to be a leader with their online education. Over 1 million alumni have earned their degrees by balancing work, school, and life. So can you. Makes me think that they could help me. So make sure you have, again, these elements of authority on your site, showcasing how you can help students that are experiencing the same story that you've helped other alumni solve, and show these pictures of what that experience could look like on your campus or even online. All right, this leads to our final fourth component. that we'd like to see in all websites that work and that follow our systems is making sure that you're being concise when describing your programs. And we've seen this a lot. The main problem most institutions run into when they talk about their programs, especially when there's a director of a program that's in charge of the collateral, is they use a lot of insider language that everybody at their team understands. I'll give you some examples, like signing up for the next, if you're offering MBA programs, I've seen this in a lot with ads, like sign up for the next cohort. A lot of students have no idea what that means. And we call this the curse of knowledge. It's just like when you go to the mechanic and he starts telling you what's wrong with your car, but you don't have a clue what he's talking about. All you need to know is that before the car was making this awful noise, someone here can fix it. Similar, this is what a website visitor needs when browsing your website. Speak their language and use the words your students use. And most institutions really struggle to speak in this way that's really easily digestible. Why? They so desperately want to come across as an expert. The problem is if you talk out of the textbook and your audience doesn't know the textbook, they won't buy. People simply do not buy when they can't understand. Here's some wise words from Albert Einstein to help you simplify your genius. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, or you don't know it yourself, apply this concept to your website, asking how you can simplify your content so a 6-year-old could understand it. All right, so for the takeaway here, by implementing all these 4 techniques on your website, your college and university will be much closer to having a website that works. Instead of losing visitors, your site will successfully engage your audience and get them to take action. If you need help implementing these components on your website, simply book a call with our team here. All right, so our 4 core pillar for our systems for 10xing your enrollment leads and doubling enrollments for your programs is making sure that you have an automated enrollment funnel. And we're going to go specifically into everything that you need to make sure you have. But here's the problem. We've been seeing many higher ed institutions spend too much money on marketing and digital advertising because they're managing all of their marketing efforts manually. And too often these painstaking efforts don't produce the results you want. Wasted time and money is a frustrating combination, but there is a simple solution, and it is this automated and effective enrollment funnel. Now that's a winning combination. We'll show you the 3 steps to developing this funnel that brings in new leads and works in the background while you focus on other tasks. All right, so there are 3 core components of what goes into this automated funnel. You need to make sure we are creating compelling content to attract people into our funnel. We are capturing contact information. We're going to show you how to do that. And then also you need to automate and segment email campaigns. This is what will help you as you capture leads, nurture leads, and actual enrollments. All right, so for the first step for creating an effective sales funnel is you need to be able to clearly communicate what your company does. If visitors on your website aren't able to quickly understand what you do and how your institution can help them, they will disengage and ultimately disappear. So before you do this, create this clear brand message and marketing copy that is clear and concise and uses the elements of storytelling that we've just gone through. A compelling message is one of the best and least expensive ways to increase the engagement and conversion rate of your website. Remember, if you confuse your visitors, you'll lose their attention. But if you tell a story that engages prospective students, your sales funnel will produce results. And here's the checklist that I want to make sure you guys go through. Let's make sure that we define what your audience wants in relation to your product or service. Identify the main problems your institution helps students solve. Position your institution as a trusted guide with empathy and authority. Give your audience a plan to follow that will solve their problems. Offer a clear call to action to get started along this path. Once you've clarified this message and you're inviting students into a compelling story, you'll want to create a website that works, which we've just gone through. Your website should be using content and calls to action to drive visitors through the buyer's journey or the enrollment journey. The banner of the website should The banner on the homepage of your website should let visitors clearly know what you offer and how it benefits their lives, as clearly and concisely as possible. If prospective students can't immediately understand why they need your programs and what specific action they need to take, there's a strong chance you're creating confusion and missing out opportunities. Don't forget to implement other ways to drive conversion, such as downloadable content, blog subscriptions, chatbots, pop-ups. By combining compelling content with conversion opportunities, your institution's website becomes a lead generating machine. And just a friendly reminder, after those 4 components that go into our website, let's make sure again that you clearly state what you can offer students in the header of your website. Place that obvious call to action in the top right corner of the site, which is that whether it's apply now, whatever it is specific to your institution. Offer a really valuable piece of content in exchange for your visitor's email address. We're going to go into what that looks like here in just a minute, and then use images that illustrate what success looks like for your students. And just a friendly reminder, make the text on your website scannable and easy to digest. Now for the next thing that goes into making sure that we have in our enrollment funnel is remembering that we have, or just to get a lead generating asset. And remember, not everyone who lands on your website is ready to buy. Don't miss out on those prospects. You want to stay connected by selling them additional information that moves them forward to taking action. And that's the power of content marketing. So how do you accomplish this strategy? The key piece of an effective sales funnel is some sort of lead magnet, a piece of valuable content given in exchange for contact information. It's as simple as this. If you don't have your prospect's email address, you can't email them. You need a simple way to successfully capture their information so you can capture leads and so you can keep in touch. And you'll see here like really good starting points we recommend, like for around your specific programs that you offer, is create some sort of career guides. And that way, for those that, when they're coming to the site, those that are ready to enroll, they have that clear direct call to action. The secondary call to action, or this lead magnet, is what's going to help capture leads and get them into your funnel. This lead generating asset is going to allow you to engage with your prospective students without requiring them to make a commitment. You can keep in touch and stay top of mind for when they are ready to move forward. So think about it this way. Enrollment marketing and dating are not so far removed. If on the first date, if someone asks you to marry them, you're probably not going to say yes. It's probably going to freak you out. But if someone asks for like, hey, we really, on this date, really enjoyed it, would you like to go out again? That's what a lead generating asset's going to do. It's help you position more dates, and then also you'll see as we go into the automated and segmented email campaign section on how we nurture those leads into enrollments. But remember, this lead generating asset should provide value to your audience, help them solve a problem, and position your institution or program as the authority. The content you provide should immediately provide value to prospective students. So here's a checklist for going through this. Make sure that you've created a lead generating asset for your website, ebooks, career guides, career assessments. Ensure that this is a downloadable piece of content and offers immediate value to your audience. This is going to establish your institution as the authority in the higher education space. Give your piece of content an intriguing title to increase downloads. And then capture email addresses of prospects so you can engage with them. So now that we've successfully captured contact information with your lead generating asset, it's time to nurture the relationship via email. Email campaigns are the key to converting your new lead into a student. In fact, according to HubSpot, the future of email is still very bright. Here's some quick stats. Email generates $38 for every dollar spent, which is an amazing 3,800 ROI. 73% of millennials prefer communications from organizations to come via email. 99% of consumers check their email every day. In fact, you might be checking your email right now. 59% of respondents say marketing emails influence their purchasing decisions. 78% of marketers have seen an increase in an email engagement over the last 12 months. If you're not using email to actively nurture your contact database, it's unlikely your leads will move toward a purchase decision on their own. Automate these email campaigns, or automated email campaigns and segmented ones are the ideal way to nurture and engage your prospect and actually get them to become an enrollment at your institution. Emails are an incredibly low risky way to build a relationship with your contact and gradually establish trust. And you'll see here in this automated enrollment funnel, this one's actually built out in HubSpot. There are different CRMs. You don't have to use HubSpot. You can use Slate. You can use Keep, which used to be Infusionsoft. You can use ActiveCampaign. There are a lot of different automated platforms. Regardless, pick one and make sure that you have this system automated. Now, the first email that once someone downloads your lead generating asset is to make sure that you send them a copy of what they've requested. So if it was the career assessment, if it was a career guide, make sure that's when you first deliver it. That way, one, they open the email and they're used to receiving your emails, and it also is going to make sure that as we send them more emails in the future, we're well on our way to make sure they're actually receiving and engaging with your emails. And the next emails, campaigns should have about 5 to 6 emails in this first process once they first downloaded that lead generating asset, is to make sure that these 5 emails continue to remind your audience of your brand message, the problem a potential student is facing, how you can help them solve it. And as you are providing more and more helpful resources as you go through the emails, the final email is going to be asking for the sale, if you will, but actually asking them to call to action. And that way we can see that lead being nurtured to an actual student. When you execute this correctly, these automated email campaigns make a massive difference in your bottom line. Previously, your website was only generating revenue and enrollments from visitors who were immediately ready to enroll, which is usually fewer than 10% of your visitors. Again, it's just like if you ask someone to marry you on the first date. Now your website will have a system in place to get more dates with your target audience and to get in front of more, or to get more leads from that other 90% of people that are coming to your site. So let's make sure for this checklist that you've drafted a sequence of 5 emails that deliver valuable information to your prospects once they downloaded that lead generating asset. Acknowledge the student's pain point and restate your institution as the solution. Use this sequence to educate your contacts and on courses why they should enroll. Use this nurturing sequence to establish a sense of familiarity among your prospects. And then close this email sequence with a sales pitch to turn prospects into students who are ready to now enroll. So for your takeaway here, if your goal is to build a more productive and profitable institution, the first step should be clarifying your message. Once you're able to clearly communicate what you offer students, you'll be able to implement this messaging on your website in a compelling way, which we've gone through. Now, by using these tactics, you'll be able to gather contact information from your website visitors and begin nurturing those leads. Using this strategy and following this checklist will help you generate the marketing results and ultimately increase your enrollment. You're going to have a system in place that's going to consistently get you new enrollments each month. You're going to have lead generating assets and a system to convert those leads into students. That's everything that goes into an automated and effective enrollment funnel. And if you need help with any of this, again, you can schedule with our team here, and we can implement this for you at your institution. All right. Now for generating leads on demand with paid ads, we're going to go through what 4 key areas, some key hacks and some secret hacks, if you will, that we've noticed over the past couple of years in our system. But now that we have our clear messaging in place, we have our website optimized for conversion, and we have an automated enrollment funnel, you're going to be positioned to maximize your ROI with online advertising. And if you don't execute on those core things we just went through with the messaging, the enrollment funnel, the website, It's like taking your advertising dollars and throwing them into a vacuum, if you will. Now, again, we're going to cover the 4 key areas to have a system in place to generate awareness, demand for your programs, and a targeting strategy to accomplish your enrollment growth goals. Now, before we get into this, I want to make sure you understand 3 main areas in the enrollment journey. And we're going to do a deep dive on how to generate awareness, have the right messaging at the right time as they go through this, and how to convert these visitors into enrollments. Now, for generating awareness, made ads, Facebook/Instagram ads are a great way to help you reach new students who might be searching for your programs already, or may need your solution but don't know about it yet. While Google Ads essentially harvest demand, paid social is going to help you generate demand. And then also remarketing ads through paid social is a great way to stay in front of your visitors that have come to your website, landing pages, but they still haven't converted. All right, I'm going to go back up to these ads in just a second, but just a couple quick things, like your messaging and lead generating assets are going to be key to converting the students you desire to enroll with social ads. Creating an audience will spend the budget more efficiently. However, Facebook does not harvest demand, again, like paid search does. Paid search, again, people are searching. Paid social is going to generate demand by engaging the platform user who is not actively seeking you out, but rather drawing them in. So here's our checklist for generating leads from Meta's platforms on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure that you create ad copy and designs that are specific, just like the ones that are in here, that are clear and enticing. Focus the creative not only on the courses you offer, but the transformation you provide. Who they want to become, their future career. Make sure that you create and utilize lead generating assets like career guides, virtual tours, assessments that offer free advice to entice your audience and encourage your visitors. And this is really important because for social ads that generate leads, we are actually going to be promoting your lead generators. And we're also going to make sure that you have lead generators on your landing pages. So let's make sure that you have created landing pages for your ads that are focused on converting and optimized for both mobile and desktop users. Do not drive ads directly to your website or even your program pages on your website. You're going to be missing out as anywhere from 80 to 90% of lead opportunities if you do this. Let's make sure that after you've created those lead generating assets, that you have created those 5 emails that we just talked about. So once someone downloads one of your lead magnets or opts into the funnel, we have a system in place to nurture that lead into an actual enrollment. Now, looking at the campaign structure, we're going to have 3 different campaigns that we're going to have running on Facebook and Instagram ads. We're going to have a top of the funnel awareness campaign. Again, users that are going to be interested in higher education or a specific career, but again, may not be aware of your institution. And how we're going to get them into our funnel is we're going to be promoting our lead magnets that we've created for each specific program with lead ads. If we're able to create a lookalike audience, that's even better because that will go into a little bit of our middle of the funnel retargeting strategy. So if you have a list of at least 500 students or leads that have reached out to you, that's a great way to quickly build out an audience and get your lead magnets in front of someone that's going to be more exact match. If you don't, you can still build out an audience. It's not required. And then for having a bottom of the funnel, we want to make sure that you're having this retargeting campaign. And this is for those that have requested information, like they downloaded the lead magnets, filled out application forms on the website, but still have not converted. That way we can make sure that we are keeping your messaging in front of them and what you can do, just general reminders. And you've probably seen this as you've gone to either other higher ed institution websites, or if you've gone on to Amazon and you've still searched, or you've looked at certain products and services and you didn't buy it, and it follows you around. Sometimes you will buy that product. All right, so some bonus hacks. As you're aware, there are different tactics and platforms that work well for generating leads for your different audiences that your institution serves. So for your traditional and undergrad programs, you're actually going to have two audiences that we are going to want to create lead magnets for and get into your funnel. That's going to be high school students and their parents. So you're going to need to make sure that you have two different campaigns using the same strategy that we just went through. One for parents, again, one for high school students. And what you're going to have now is a system in place to generate two pipelines for your institution. Now for your non-traditional, your graduate programs, online, the above strategy will work well, but you can also use the same strategy on LinkedIn. And the same strategy works really well on this platform since we're targeting working professionals usually. Also, again, make sure you have built in your ongoing nurture emails, a separate nurture email sequence targeting traditional enrolled students, generating awareness of how your grad programs can help them further their career as well. So just remember to keep that in mind as you get traditional students, for those for your grad, that you have email marketing and comm flows. Just think about once the student comes to your institution, additional nurture emails that you can start generating awareness for those programs. And that's why, again, when you build out your enrollment funnel, you're going to want to make sure you have your list segmented. And again, remember our stats on our email marketing. This is a great low-hanging fruit exercise for your team to perform quarterly to ensure lists are segmented and accurate, and we can do the same thing for you. All right, for generating leads in the consideration stage, this is more of a middle of the funnel activity. As you're aware, many of your programs have plenty of your audience searching on Google and other search engines too, but so how can we make sure that you get your message and your programs in front of them to convert these visitors? I'm going to share with you our proven framework to do this with Google Ads. And let's see. I'll come back to this. I'm going to zoom in here in just a minute, but a couple quick things. As you're aware, search ads, you've probably gone and done Google search ads or done a Google search. You see the ads are the first thing that display. Several benefits here is we can make sure that we have messaging that using our storytelling framework to invite users into a story versus just like an organic search result. And also, again, we can display these in front of the competitors online. Here's a couple quick things on our checklist to ensure and optimize your success with these ads is to do your keyword research first on SEMrush and then Google's keyword planning tool. This will help you see realistic budgets to see if you have the ROI is there. Sometimes cost per click, just depending on your university's competitive landscape. Cost per clicks could be too high for specific programs. It may not make sense, but a lot of times there are really good opportunities. Make sure that you create ad groups around each specific program that we're promoting that we've found after doing keyword research will work well. And if you need help on this, you might remember how we have our Google Ads calculator. We can help you guys create budgets here and figure out if Google Ads make sense. Make sure, just like with the Made Ads campaigns and LinkedIn ad campaigns, that we're driving to landing pages for each specific program and not to your website. You're going to be missing out on a lot of lead opportunities and wasting money on your ad spend. Make sure you add your lead generating assets that you've created for those specific programs to your landing pages as a secondary call to action. And what this will help is it will help anybody that's kind of doing a search is kind of window shopping sometimes. Sometimes they have an immediate need. This will help you get even more in your leads into your funnel. And most institutions that we've worked with, and we've done this, we've doubled and tripled Google ad leads just alone from this strategy. Make sure you have remarketing and display ads for each program you're promoting. Again, this is going to help those that have maybe come to the site but not converted, just like these. And this is what I mean by when I was saying this earlier. Let's see if you'll let me zoom in a little bit more. Again, you can see like it's might not be quite as clear right here on the screen as I'd like it to be, but you can see how the messaging that we're able to create is what their programs can do for their audience versus when someone does an organic search for a lot of these programs and you go to the organic results, you can't really control the messaging there. And again, these ads display on top of search results which will get more users to click on your ads and into your funnel. All right. All right, so here's some bonus hacks and some additional strategies that you can take and execute with your team, or we can execute with you for you as well. But after you've executed the core things we've just went through, these things that we just went through, again, will generate anywhere from 5 to as many as 20 new student enrollments each month if you execute all of these things in your systems. But other things that you can implement that can help you generate more leads and students is implementing the inbound marketing framework, which a lot of what we've gone through is, again, while our paid ads, messaging, and enrollment funnel will generate the enrollment leads on demand, you can still make a long-term investment in executing in other inbound marketing tactics. But what we typically see is most institutions we've worked with, you don't see the results from this for at least 12 months. Sometimes a little sooner, but usually at least 12 months. And if you're familiar with the inbound marketing framework that has been made famous by HubSpot's founder, Brian Halligan, in 2005, you'll see that they now have what they call a flywheel. And again, it's another word for our automated funnel. We've talked about the strategies on what we're going to do to attract people into your funnel, how we're going to engage with those users in our automated enrollment funnel with email marketing and those segmented campaigns, and then also different ways that we can continue to delight and make those that are in our funnel already enrolled in our institution in this area with nurturing emails. Again, once we have a traditional student, just more of content that goes there. That you can send and use with email marketing, but there are other things that you can use additionally. Again, everything that we've gone through is essentially part of this flywheel, but we've actually customized what works really well for higher ed institutions. Now, you can craft blog articles and you can pair this with a winning SEO strategy. And this will help your institution rank well when your audience is searching for topics around specific programs or maybe careers that they're interested in. And a couple things, like ideally we'd like to see a minimum of 3 to 5 articles written for each program, both with more information on what the program offers, details, etc., along with information around the career that program provides. Why? This will make sure that your blog articles that are on your website have a better chance of being found when topics around it are being searched online by your audience. And these articles can be repurposed and utilized in the ongoing weekly nurture emails that we recommend sending to your segmented lead list for those that are interested in the program but have not yet converted. Also, be sure to add your lead generating assets to your blog articles or your and this will help capture even more leads organically into your funnel without additional cost. But just make sure that your lead generating assets that you're putting on your blog articles match the content in the program. For more ideas and strategies, I've got a link right here where you can go directly to HubSpot, and it goes through much more information on additional strategies that you can take and execute. And if you're going through any of this, if you need a guide, I'd highly recommend hopping on a strategy call with our HubSpot certified team of experts to guide you through a winning inbound plan customized to your needs. And again, a friendly reminder, make sure that you've got, from everything we've talked through on our 5 core pillars, you've executed those things first before going here, because this is going to take a really long time for you to experience results from this. And then so for search engine optimization, many of you are aware that this is a great long-term investment, which will help you increase your organic traffic and outrank any online competitors. If you stay committed to the process and updating your strategy as the Google algorithm updates, we've seen clients double, even up to 5x their organic traffic, but this usually takes a minimum of 12 to 24 months to experience this. And so how do we do this? I've got some links here where you can go directly to SEMrush's audits tool, and you can run your website through there. If you have a webmaster or a team at your university, have them do this. But this will give you a tool to generate a list of your website or for your webmaster to resolve any issues your website might be experiencing. Or you can book a call with their team. We can do an audit for you as well and see what's going on. And you see, Google wants to ensure a great user experience for those that are using their search engine. So it's almost kind of like a voting system, if you will. Institutions that check as many boxes following Google's best practices, and I have it linked here so you can take a look at those, along with a high domain authority, just gets you even more checks on the off-page SEO, will always rank better online. So again, the more votes your website has, the more search campaigns you'll win. All right. So from fixing all the technical issues and on-page issues for this institution's website that we worked with, and publishing blog articles around search topics specific to their programs and relevant careers, I'm going to share so you can see the transformation they experience, and you likely can as well. So these were all the on-page optimizations we made. From getting proper header tags, they had a lot of underscores in their URLs, which just the way the algorithms work with Google, it's just one thing to follow their Google's My Best Practices. We enhance load time and speed optimization for both desktop and mobile, and then this is more of a little bit of off-page SEO, but we disavowed a lot of toxic backlinks. And so you can see when we were first started on this, so you can see Limestone, from solving these issues, they almost experienced triple of their online organic traffic, but it took a little over a year and a half for this to happen. You can see from when everything was being started in 2017 to where it took almost to January of 2019 to do this, and their traffic continues to increase from this. Now, pillar posts are other areas where we recommend in addition to general blog articles, and I'm going to kind of go through a little bit more information on the difference here. But pillar posts specifically for higher ed typically are long form pieces of content tailored and around an in-depth overview of a topic at your institution. So it could be around a program or a career. Tie this piece into an overall program like MBA programs, any type of business programs, etc., and link other blog articles on your site back to it. And so the model is essentially going to look like this, where you're going to have other blog articles. So imagine this is your MBA programs, or this is your business programs. This could be education programs. You're going to have an in-depth overview piece of content, an article about that, with other articles linking back to it. So for off-page tactics, we essentially have one main goal in mind, and that's to build your domain authority score like we mentioned earlier. And you'll notice in the screenshot that while Limestone did triple their organic traffic, there's still plenty of opportunities to build up their own domain score and overall organic traffic. When you can see when we compare this is Limestone's versus Michigan State University's domain score. So how would we do this, and how can you? Again, once your on-page SEO issues list has been resolved, and this will be a bit of an ongoing process that you'll have to rinse and repeat. Plus, you have plenty of new blog articles and pillar posts pushed out. Increasing links coming back to your site will help next, and that's on the off-page SEO. This is where this comes into play. And how you do this is by getting guest blog articles from relevant sites to publish articles and link them back to your website, or to other articles, or your pillar posts on your website will do the job. So if you have any partners, like at your institution may have, like for any kind of workforce development, affiliated alumni, those are great places for you to start and have them publish articles with links going back to your institution's websites. If you need some ideas around this, like you could do like a spotlight of a certain program. Maybe you have an alumni that graduated from it and they want to make sure their workforce development is aware of your program's offerings. And so they would publish this article on their site and they can link it back to your site. And when you do this, we would highly recommend that you also reciprocate this to your partner's website, and you can publish articles for them and send them back to their website, and you'll help their SEO perform better and yours as well. But if you execute on this strategy, you'll be well on your way to increase your domain authority score and having a winning SEO plan. And if you're finding yourself getting stuck of any of this, simply reach out to our team, and our team of experts will guide you through a plan customized to your needs. So if everything we've discussed resonates with you and you want to consistently grow your enrollment at a pace that makes an impact at your institution and is scalable, let's talk. Now, in this call, this is a one-on-one session where we'll discuss your specific enrollment growth challenges and how our systems can potentially help you overcome them. You see right here, you can click on a link and you can pick a time that works best for your calendar and book your complimentary strategy call. Now, this could be the decision that propels your institution or academic programs to new heights in 2024 and moving forward. And remember, you're not just saying yes yet, but you're just saying maybe. Because at the end of our strategy call, if we don't feel like we are perfect partners to help you reach your enrollment growth goals, there's absolutely no pressure or obligation to move forward. We're here to listen, understand your needs, and guide you to a path to your success. Well, I appreciate your time, and here's to your enrollment growth. Take care.